last time we discussed how we characterize reuse, data reuse, and we basically had different categorizations like self-reuse, group reuse, temporal, spatial, and so on. And in this module, we're going to focus on one particular category of reuse, which is self-reuse. So here's an example to motivate the discussion. For I equals 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, A0 equals 0. Now it's clear that across all the n iterations of this loop, it's the same element that's getting accessed, which is A0. And so there is self-reuse. And you can say it's self-temporal reuse, but I'm not going to use the word temporal. That's the implied word. Self-reuse just means self-temporal reuse. Okay, so there's a lot of self-reuse. Now, if I look at the array access coefficient matrix, capital F, that's just 0 because it's a one-dimensional array. So that means that the number of rows of the coefficient matrix is 1. Moreover, the dimension is basically always constant 0, and so the coefficient of the loop iteration index I is just 0. And small f is also 0 because that's the constant term, which in this case also happens to be 0. Alright, so I want to establish some kind of relationship between capital F, small f, and reuse, self-reuse. And we're going to do this by looking at some examples. So in this particular example, we see that the coefficient matrix is 0, the constant matrix small f is also 0, and there is self-reuse. Okay, let's move on to our another example, and this time I just replace A0 equals 0 with AI equals 0. And now my coefficient matrix is 1 because and the constant matrix is 0 because the array access is 1 into I plus 0, that's just I, and that's exactly what my array access address can be specified as for a unidimensional memory access. Okay, so AI equals 0. In this case, there is no self-reuse, right? So there is no self-temporal reuse. Because in every iteration, it's a different element that's being accessed. Alright, now let's take another example. This time, I have the same body, AI equals 0, but I have a two-dimensional loop nest. For I equals 0 to n, for j equals 0 to m. And this time, my loop iteration indices are ij. It's a two-dimensional loop nest, so it's a two-dimensional set of indices that's going to specify my iteration space. And consequently, this is my coefficient matrix. It has only one row because the array access is unidimensional. And so capital F has coefficients 1 and 0 because the coefficient of I is 1 and the coefficient of j is 0 in I. And the small f is also 0. And in this case, we say that there is self-reuse because for across all iterations of j, it's the same location AI that's getting accessed. The location doesn't change across iterations of the inner loop. It does change with across iterations of the outer loop, but there is significant reuse because same location is being accessed across multiple points in the iteration space for the same value of I, different values of j. Here's another example. Let's say it's a two-dimensional array access and it's I comma 2i. So ai comma 2i equals 0. Once again, my iteration space is represented using a two-dimensional vector ij, and this is my coefficient matrix 1 0 2 0. All right, because in both the dimensions of the axis, array access I and 2i, j is absent. So the coefficient of j in both dimensions is 0. The coefficient of I in the first dimension is I and is 1, and the coefficient of I in the second dimension is 2, and the constant term is 0. And in this case, there is self-reuse. Okay, why is there self-reuse? Because, for example, just consider the case. Once again, for different iterations of j for the inner loop, it's the same locations. For example, if I is equal 0, then it's A0 comma 0 that's being accessed across all the iterations of the inner loop. If I equals 1, then it's A1 comma 2 that's being accessed across all the iterations of the inner loop, and so on. And so there is self-reuse. Now, we want to develop a relationship between capital F and self-reuse, and I'm going to come to that very soon. But I hope you are noticing some kind of a pattern here. Here is an example. Here's another example. It's the same two-dimensional loop nest, but the array access, a two-dimensional array access, is given by I, comma 2i plus j. Now the coefficient matrix, now the loop iteration index vector is again ij. The coefficient matrix is 1, 0, 2, 1 because in the first dimension the coefficients are 1 and 0 for I and j respectively, and for the second dimension the coefficients are 2 and 1 for I and j respectively, and the constant term is still 0, 0. In this particular case there is no self reuse because across different iterations of j, it's a different value or different address of the array that's being accessed. For example, 0, 0 is going to access 0, 0 plus 0, so 0, 0. I, j equals 0, 0 access 0, 0 of the array. 0, 1 accesses 0, 1 in the array, and so on, right? So for different values of either I or j, these are different values that are being accessed. Notice the coefficient vector, the coefficient matrix, capital F, 1, 0, 2, 1. Now let me change that a little bit, and let's say I just change my coefficient matrix so that it becomes I plus j, comma 2i plus 2j. Once again, I have a two-dimensional loop nest, ij, and I have an array access. First dimension is I plus j, the second dimension is 2i plus 2j. And now this is my coefficient matrix, 1, 1, 2, 2, right, for each of the dimensions. For the first dimension, the coefficients of both I and j is 1. For the second dimension, the coefficients of both I and j are 2. And that's exactly being represented in my coefficient matrix. Now I claim that in this particular example, there is self-reuse. Okay, why is there self-reuse? Because, well, it's true that for a given value of I, for different values of j, I will be accessing different array elements, because let's say I equals 0, then j equals 1 is going to access a1, 2, j equals 2 is going to access a2, 4, and so on, right? But let's look at, for example, point a10, 20. Now a10, 20 will be accessed for what vectors I, j? Well, I claim that whenever I plus j equals 10, then a10, 20 is going to access, because when I plus j is 10, then the first dimension is going to become 10 and the second dimension is going to become 20. Okay, and so what are some solutions to I plus j equals 10? Well, 1, 0, 10, 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6, 5, 5, and so on, right? So there's order n number of different indices. So things like 0, 10, 1, 9, ... 5, 5, and so on, right? So there are many different points in the iteration space for which the same location a10, 20 will get accessed. And so in this case also there is self-reuse, right? Recall, what is the definition of self-reuse? If multiple points in the iteration space access the same array location for a given statement, in this case the statement is ai plus j, 2i plus 2j equals 0, then there is self-reuse, and that is actually holding true here, because for point 0, 10 and 5, 5, it's the same location 10, 20 that would get accessed. Okay, and so notice that this has something to do with the characteristic of the capital F matrix. So how do I know whether there is self-reuse or not? Well, if the data referenced by a static access has k dimensions. So in other words, what's the dimensionality of the data that is being accessed? Now that doesn't really mean what's the dimensionality of the array being accessed. For example, in the array that we discussed earlier, we discussed both one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays, and in both cases there were cases in one-dimensional array where there was reuse, and there were cases in a one-dimensional array where there was no reuse. Similarly, there were cases in a two-dimensional array where there was no reuse, and there were cases in a two-dimensional array where there were reuse. So the dimension of access is not the dimension of the array. The dimension of the access is basically the dimension of the kind of space, the dimension of the space of the array access. So if the array is accessing multiple points, if I draw the dimension of, if I basically characterize that as a vector space, then what's the dimension of that vector space? Okay, and so for example, in the previous example, I plus j, 2i plus 2j is going to give me a one-dimensional space, because it's going to be always, if I know one dimension, the other dimension just follows from that dimension, because the moment I know I plus j, 2i plus the second dimension of the array access will always be double of the first dimension. So if the first dimension is 10, the second dimension will be 20, irrespective of what is the value of ij. Similarly, if the first dimension is 100, then the second dimension will be 200, and so on. And so even though this array is a two-dimensional array, the dimensionality of the axis is one-dimensional. Because one dimension, if you fix one dimension, the other dimension follows from the first dimension in this particular case. And so if the data referenced by a static axis has k dimensions, in my previous example it had one dimension, and the axis is nested in a d depth loop where d is greater than k, and that was the case in my previous example. The loop nest depth was 2 and the axis, the dimension of the array axis was 1, and so 2 was greater than 1, then the same data can be reused n to the power d minus k times, right? So in other words, in my previous example, the same data would be reused n to the power 2 minus 1 or order n times. So if each of the loop iteration indices have order n elements in them, then the same location would have a reuse of order n by substituting 2 for d and 1 for k. N is the number of iterations of one loop, average number of iterations of one loop. We are of course approximating here. We are assuming that these values of the upper bounds and lower bounds are very large, which they typically are because we are basically dealing with large arrays. And so, and they are similar across dimensions, we are hoping. If they are not, we can just take the average. But, under those approximations, the amount of reuse there would be n to the power d minus k, where k is the dimensionality of the axis and d is the dimensionality of the loop nest or the iteration space. So what do I mean by dimensionality of a reference? I have just explained it very informally using an example where I say, if you fix these many number of dimensions, the other dimensions follow from that. What is the more formal way of saying that? And that is basically nothing but the rank of the coefficient matrix. Okay, this is exactly what we, this is very well studied in the linear algebra theory, and the dimensionality of a reference can be given by the rank of the coefficient matrix capital F. Okay, and we can go back to all the examples that we've seen before and see that in all the cases where there was reuse, the rank of the coefficient matrix, which represents the dimensionality of the axis, was less than the dimensionality of the loop iteration space or the loop nest depth. Okay, so if this is k and that was d, then k was less than d. If k is less than d, then there is reuse. If k is not less than d, then there is no reuse, and so that's by the way, k would be less than equal to d, because after all you cannot have an array axis of dimensionality greater than the dimensionality of the loop nest depth itself, because you are actually constrained by how many different points you traverse in the loop nest in the first place. Okay, so it is also easy to see this using some algebraic simplification. So we want to identify whether there is self reuse or not. We want to identify two iterations I and I prime, where fi plus f equals fi prime plus f, right? Because fi and capital F and small f basically represent the mapping from loop iteration space to the array access space, and we are interested in finding out what are the two iteration indices for which they access the same location. In other words, capital Fi plus small f should be equal to capital Fi prime plus small f, right? Notice that it's the same capital F's and small f's on both sides. The only difference is the iteration index vector I. Okay, so this simplifies to capital F multiplied with I minus I prime equals 0, and we are interested in finding what is the number of points in I and I prime that basically satisfy this equation. Now it's, from linear algebra we know that if capital F is a full rank matrix, then there is only one solution to this equation, which is I equals I prime, right? Because if this multiplicand here is 0, then for any matrix capital F, this would evaluate to 0. But that basically means I equals I prime, which means it's the same iteration, and then there is reuse. But we are really not interested in I equals I prime, right? So the trivial solution here is I equals I prime, but that is not the interesting solution for us. So one of the constraints we want to add to this system of equations to identify whether there is self-reuse or not is that I should be not equal to I prime. Now, if F is a full rank matrix, then there is no non-trivial solution to this equation. In other words, for example, in a one-dimensional case, if capital F was just a multiplier, let's say 2, so 2 into x equals 0, so the only solution to that is x equals 0, right? But and there is no other solution, and so 2 can be thought of in the scalar world as a non-zero kind of multiplier. In a vector world, in a matrix world, we say that if F is full rank, then the only solution to F into x equals 0 is when x equals 0. But we are not interested in that solution. But if F is not full rank, in other words, the rank of F is smaller than the total dimension of the matrix, then we have other non-zero solutions. And this space of non-zero solutions is called the null space of F. Once again, I'm just borrowing these terms from well-studied theory in linear algebra. If you're unaware, if you're not familiar with these terms, I'll point you to some material on linear algebra in the comment section. Okay, so for example, we'll just try to characterize the null space of different matrices. So if my matrix is 1, 0, 0, 1. Firstly, what do I mean by rank of a matrix? The rank of a matrix is basically the number of linearly independent rows or columns in that matrix. So, just without loss of generality, let me talk about rows. So, number of rows which are linearly independent, which means none of these rows can be written as linear combination of all the other rows. In this case, when I say 1, 0, 0, 1, this is also the identity matrix. The number of linearly independent rows for this capital F is 2. Because the second row cannot be written as a linear combination of the first row. And so the null space for this particular matrix F is actually just a single point 0, 0 or the 0 vector, because it's a full rank matrix. The dimensions of the matrix are 2 cross 2, and the rank of the matrix is also 2, and so it's a full rank matrix. And so the only solution to the equation fx equals 0 is x equals 0, and so that's the only null space. Let's take another example. F equals 1, minus 1, 2, minus 2. Now, in this case, the rank of the matrix is actually 1, because the second row can be written as a linear combination of the first row. If I just multiply the first row by 2, I get the second row. So the number of linearly independent rows in F is only 1, and so the rank of the matrix is 1. And consequently and equivalently, the null space of this matrix is not just the trivial solution, but it has actually order n solutions, or where n is the dimension, the number of points in a single dimension. So in this case, the null space is actually I minus j equals 0. So whenever I equals j, this matrix so whenever I equals j, in other words, if I multiply this with I comma j, so whenever I equals j, then f into I, this ij vector is going to give me 0. So for example, if I multiply f with 1, 1, it's going to give me 0. If I multiply with 2, 2, it's going to give me 0, and so on. And so the null space is not just trivial, but it has I minus j equals 0. So there are many points in the null space, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and so on. Or for this two-dimensional space, the number of points in the null space is order n. And so the amount of reuse that we have for such a coefficient matrix is also order n. Okay. So, so in the first example, it has no self-reuse because the null space minus the trivial solution is empty. But the second case, it has self-reuse because the null space minus the trivial solution is non-empty.